Hello, everybody. This is Dane Gentry with the Standing Back Up podcast. I'm here today with my special guest, Mr. Chris Burke. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well.
So, Chris was a guard or a CO, whichever you want to call him, in Texas, and that's what I'm doing now on my podcast. Now I'm taking it all the way back to just prison and jail content with inmates and officers. And Chris is lucky number one. How's your week been going, man? How you been doing?
Oh, everything. Well, it's been a kind of a sad week. A friend of mine was beat to death with brass knuckles this week. To be honest with you, yeah.
Oh wow. What would they get into it over money or what happened?
I don't have any of the details. Sadly, we're
Mm,
still trying to find out the details of what happened.
well, it's a rough way to go.
Yeah, very rough.
Um, so you didn't grow up dreaming about being a CO in a jail or any of that, I'm sure, from what we've
No,
talked
my
about
dad
before.
was a corrections officer in TDC. My father was um, in the Air Force, 76 to 82 as a security police officer. And then whenever he got out, he became a corrections officer, TDCJ. I got my hair cut in a prison, um, all that stuff. Yeah. I did
Oh
that. There
wow.
wasn't anything that intrigued me or anything like that. Being a police officer was kind of interesting because I grew up in a wrecking business. So me and my grandfather ran a tow truck together, and so I worked very closely with law enforcement in traffic accidents and stuff like that. I always
All right.
respected the police and what they
So
did.
so how did it come about for you to be a CO? How'd that all happen?
I started out in the construction industry whenever I was a kid, and I've worked in it all my life. I became a construction superintendent and stuff like that. I kind of got burned out on building big schools and buildings and things like that. I went and started my own construction company, bought some dump trucks, had a CDL. I ran a concrete crew, and I made massive amounts of money. I just got burned out doing it. So during COVID, I decided I don't want to buy any more equipment. The inflation prices were going crazy, and I just decided I'm going to do something different. I sold off everything I had. I had money in the bank, and I took a low paying job, to be honest with you, mostly just to keep me, just to have something to do, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, I've never been to jail myself. That was the very first time I had ever even stepped foot in a jail. It's weird that you've been to prison before you ever went to jail, but I had been in prison before, but I had
yeah.
never been inside a jail.
So tell everybody how the process works. Like if somebody on the street today wanted to go and be a jailer there in Texas, like what would they have to do? How would it all go about?
Well, it's a pretty difficult process. I mean, you're a law enforcement officer in the state of Texas when you're a jailer. A lot of people don't know that. You are not the only thing that as a jailer you cannot do is you can't make a traffic stop and you cannot make an arrest on the street. That's the only difference between
Okay.
a jailer and a deputy sheriff. That's the only difference. So
So
you're going to go through the same background check. You've got to go through an academy. You're going to go through almost everything that a police officer goes through. I mean, you're going to go through everything. The academy is a shorter time, but it's a more difficult test. The test is uh, only 100 questions long, and you've got to make 70%. So, and it's a very difficult test. I mean, I saw a girl fail that test 6 times.
wow. So they give you another chance then, I guess.
Well, you get 3 chances, and you have to go back through the academy. And luckily, the county that I was in, we had our own jailers academy. So the sheriff at the time was a good enough man that he would pay, for you to go through the academy a second time. He'd give you a second chance on going through the academy. which it cost the county about $40,000 to send somebody through the jailer academy.
Oh, no kidding. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, well, they have
And
to
you,
pay your salary the whole time. You're on the clock, um, and then the testing is expensive. It's got to be done by a third party tester and stuff like that. Yeah,
oh, no kidding. So you said the test is harder for a jailer than it is for an actual road
absolutely.
deputy?
Yeah, because you get 250 questions on a T Cole peace officers test, and you can make a seven. You can't miss it. You don't miss 30 questions on a jailer's test. You failed
Okay, I
30
got you.
questions, dude.
So
Yeah.
is it almost like being a constable? I know y'all have constables down there in Texas.
No, no, no,
Not the
no,
same
no.
thing.
Constable is a police officer, and he has to be elected.
Oh,
He's
okay.
that's the only two law enforcement agencies in the country that are elected officials. The
Oh, no
sheriff's
kidding.
office is actually the only constitutional law enforcement agency in the United States.
No
All
kidding.
of the other ones are by executive order or municipalities, like police departments or municipalities, even highway patrol. They're not, they're ran through the attorney general and the governor's office, but they're not a constitutionally protected law enforcement
I wonder
office.
why. I wonder why it's like that. Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong with this, but I believe, like where Williamson County, where I'm from, the COs will come in and be a jailer, but that's why they're going through the police academy to be an actual road deputy. I think they make them do so much time work at a jail for so long, I think, in order to be a
Well,
road deputy.
I don't know much about Tennessee, man, but I can tell you, um, in Texas, a police officer cannot even walk in the jail other than the booking area. He cannot go in there. He doesn't have a license. Now, a deputy can, because we make them hold two licenses. We have and they're both TCOL. They're Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, and so every deputy has to have both of those licenses. A regular city cop or even highway patrol, they do not have those licenses, and they can't commission that license. That you have to have that commission through the sheriff's department. It's the
Oh, that's wild.
only people in the state of Texas that can commission that license is the sheriff.
No kidding.
Yeah. Uh,
So, how long is the academy or whatever you have to go through? Like,
it's
how long you
six
got to do that?
weeks here in Texas. For a police officer, it's 6 months, but you only have 6 weeks to learn all this stuff. And I'm telling you, the book they give you is an inch and a half thick, and you got to learn all those codes, those procedures, how to intake an inmate, how to house an inmate. The temperature of their food has to be a certain amount. The water temperature has to be correct. The air conditioning temperature. You have to understand, in jail, you're not convicted of a crime. We're
No.
housing you, waiting for a court date. So when you in Texas, there's no air conditioning in prison.
Yeah, I
So
heard.
so they're actually taking that to federal court right now. I don't think it'll be approved. It could be. I don't know. I doubt it. But they may do some of the units or something like that, the mental health units, something, but it's highly unlikely that they're going to make them air conditioned in those units, man.
I remember when I was in jail out there, I was in Montgomery County and then Harris County, and people were telling me that it was so hot going to some of them penitentiaries, people were passing out on the bus.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so much less, in there. I'll say this: Texas, well, really, a lot of states, compared to a lot of states, Tennessee's pretty soft. I'm just going to
Oh,
be honest
yeah.
about it.
Well,
They
Texas
are.
is probably the hardest state in the country, to be honest with you. I mean, I hear stuff about Florida and California, like their inmates are kind of wild, but I guarantee you, uh, the state of Texas is being rough on. I mean, you catch a felony in Texas easier than any other state. I bet you.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
I believe
yeah,
that. They got them signs on the interstate there. It says "Don't mess with Texas,"
and they mean it. They
and they
do
mean
mean
it.
it.
I
Yeah,
liked it out
absolutely.
there. I was just on the run. So after you finish your academy and you're gonna start your first day, was you nervous?
No, I'd already worked in the jail. The The thing is you get a temporary license. It's only good for a year, and you can only have one of them in your lifetime. So they give you a PID number. Uh, you get your uniforms. They put life insurance on you before you start. It was probably a 3.5 month process just to get the job. It probably took 3.5 months before I went on to duty for
But
my
you were
first
getting
job.
paid.
No, I was not being paid. No, no, no. I'm talking about just the job hiring process took
Oh,
about
okay.
3 months.
Okay.
So then you go into FTO training. You have a field training officer, and you go in and you learn, how to feed inmates, how to count them, how to handcuff them. Uh, just you just learn the ropes, and taking them toilet paper, taking their essentials, man. I mean, these people are caged animals, and you're their caretaker, dude. You got to do your babysitting, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you are. I don't think, as far as like the temperature of their food and all that stuff, I ain't never seen anyone really take a lot of care in that in anywhere I've ever been. They'll
You
make sure
better in
it's
Texas.
temperature.
You
They'll
better
make
in
sure it's
Texas. If you don't, they're going to come and put handcuffs on you, and you're going to go to jail.
wow. See, I
Oh
was
yeah.
in. I don't remember. What I do remember is this: in Montgomery County, Conroe. As soon as you get there, they'll give you a job. You ain't got to be sentenced. You ain't got to be convicted. Where in Tennessee, you got to be sentenced and convicted before they give you a trustee. I call it a trustee, as you know, job. But there in Texas, I walked in there. They said, "You want to work in the kitchen?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, sure. Why not?"
But it's voluntary. See,
Yeah,
in Texas prison, it's mandatory that you work.
right,
If you
right.
don't work, they're going to feed you the nastiest shit you ever ate in your life. They call it
Loaf.
loaf. And
I
it's
never
just
experienced
whatever's
that.
left over. And they mix it with gelatin, freeze it, cut it up, and they slice it and they give it to you with a couple of pieces of bread. Yeah.
They were doing that at the CCA prisons in Tennessee for a little while, and then they got sued for it. But if you went to the hole or got locked down or was a troublemaker, that's what they'd feed you was a loaf. But I never got to experience that, thank God.
Yeah. It's pretty nasty.
All right, so you go for your first shift, man. And you walk in there. How was you treated?
Um, I was treated pretty well. I mean, I'm a lot older. You got a lot of young cats working in there, man. 19, 20, 21. The average age is probably 25 years old. So,
Mm,
I was 42 whenever I went in
right,
there. And they called me cowboy. Once they, uh, we have an influx of Californians and stuff over here now. And so, I got an old country boy accent. They knew I was from the area. I wore cowboy boots on shift. I was the only one that did, and I would wear a black felt hat. Nobody else in there, nobody. I wasn't even supposed to wear it. I was out of uniform wearing it, but I didn't give a shit.
right.
Just, yeah,
So the code, you wasn't you supposed to be wearing it. Did you ever have any problems with inmates, or did they always respect you because of the
never,
way you treated?
never. I never got into a physical altercation with an inmate, not one time. I would say that the black inmates respected me more than the white inmates, to be honest with you. Uh, I had one that was very unruly. He got to be where he absolutely, I was the only officer he would even talk to because I treated him with dignity and respect. You know what I mean? I like I what got us talking is I was saying that I would have helped that man out that had that bad leg. I would. There's no way I would never let an inmate sit there and suffer. I wouldn't do it.
I'll tell you, man. In my time, I've saw some things. The medical is always a joke, pretty much. Dental and medical. I've
Yeah.
saw them let people, especially like if you go in there. Most people, let's just be honest, 99% of people that get arrested are drug addicts. And so you go in there, you're going to be sick coming off dope, and they'll let you lay in that floor and die. Um, Tennessee is
That
still
ain't
that way
happening in
now.
Texas, man. We have 30-minute checks, man, and if you don't do those checks, they'll file an official oppression charge against you and put you in jail.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they
Oh
had
yeah,
these little things on the wall. They had to take a little
yep.
wand
Those
and
checklists.
touch.
Yep.
They had
Hmm.
them, but there was always ways around it, man. You know, like for me, one time,
If you were in Harris County is not a very good place to be, man.
that's a wild jail there, buddy. That
It's
was,
big. It's big. Bell County is a pretty big jail. It's 5 stories.
hmm
I think.
Harris County had two.
Well, we have two jails too. Yes, sir.
Yeah, they had
Yeah,
two. There's,
one is 3 stories with a wreck top roof. It's old. They've been trying to tear it down for years, but it ain't gonna happen. And then we have one that whenever I started there, it had 3 units on it. I can't remember. I'd have to think about the numbers,
yeah.
but it was we were adding 5 stories to the backside of the jail.
Oh
And
wow.
I'm pretty sure that now Bell County can house almost 2,000 inmates.
What's a lot? That's a big jail.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. But we see Fort Hood is in Bell County, Texas. So that's the largest military base in the world. And
Okay.
it's, yeah. So the guys that got Saddam Hussein, they
Mm-hmm.
were from Fort Hood, Texas. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know
Hmm.
that.
Yeah. So
Um,
it helps fund that jail.
down there, so if two inmates get into it, get in a fight, what do they do to them down there? They put them in a hole, or they just let them fight, or
I let them fight. And then
that's
whenever
right.
they get done, we clean it up, go get a trustee, tell them mop up the blood. I'm gonna handcuff them, escort them out, put them in a holding cell. We got to reclassify them, rehouse them. Um, we can put a different status on the inmate. That's an in-house status you wouldn't be familiar with, called a HO10 or 1096.
Mm-hmm.
1096 means he's insane. HO10 means he's a violent inmate. He's not going to leave his cell without leg irons on and be handcuffed behind his back. And he's gonna be escorted all the time by 2 officers.
Yeah, I do actually know a little bit about that because when I was in Arizona, I got into it with the dude. I made a video about it, and they put me on what's called status. I had to take a shower with leg irons and handcuffs on. They would
Hmm.
not
Yeah,
at
we're
any
not gonna
time.
take them off.
Nope, they'd
The
handcuff you in the
only
front
time
for the
that we
shower, and
ever
that's it.
take them off is if he's on the rec yard.
And even they don't dare. Like they give you time out on. They don't let you go to the rec yard when you're on status. They let you out in the pod, and you're handcuffed behind your back with shackles on, walking around getting your exercise. And it was all
No, we
over
don't do
nothing.
that. We
It
don't
was
do that.
silly.
No.
It was
But
silly,
anytime
man.
you come out of that cell, if you're on a HO10 status, you are going to be you're gonna be shackled down completely.
Wow, that's wild, man.
And see,
It's a
they never see the light of day. Really, there's some skylights in the cells. We have to uh, in the state of Texas, and I can't remember all the. They have to be able to see the sunlight for so many hours a day, like 2 or 3 hours. So they just got a skylight in the top of the cells, and them cells are 30 feet tall. You know what I mean? There ain't no way
yeah,
they're ever gonna get up there. And the rec yards are inside the jail, so they just literally walk through the corridor and go out, and it's just a big cinder block wall, 30, 40 feet tall, with a metal cage roof over it, and they got one basketball rim in there. That's it.
do they do the inmates get an hour out every day for rec outside?
It's mandatory, yes.
So yeah, it's
Now, not every inmate will actually get it. We do everything we can, to make those rounds. We got and a lot of them, they refuse. They don't want to go. We don't
yeah,
make them. I mean, if you don't want to go, we're not gonna make you. If you don't want to come, if you don't want to come and take a shower or whatever, if it becomes a health hazard or something like that, we're gonna drag you out there and go clean you up. But
yeah.
we don't. There's a lot of insane people in jail that should not be in jail, man.
That's a fact.
That's the part that people don't understand. Everybody wants to say throw them in jail, throw the book at them or whatever. But whenever you got 50 men in there that don't even know they're in jail because they've been criminally trespassed from 7-Eleven, and they get thrown in here, and I mean they're talking to the wall and stuff. They don't even know. I mean, it's not right, man. It's not. That's not the place for these people. They do
Nope.
not need to be there.
And all they do in Tennessee is anyway is give them more medicine and keep them more dummied out, as I say.
Yeah.
They walk
We
around, man.
actually have special deputies that are mental health deputies, and I'm still really good friends with one. Um, his his job is to go in and evaluate these inmates and report it back to the judge, to the district judge, and help these people get out of jail. Like they will literally pull them out of jail, even if they've got criminal charges, and take them to a mental health. They take to they find them a bed and they relocate them and
Oh wow,
just drop the charges. Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, but
wow. Yeah, Tennessee's not that way. They have a in the prison system. They have a pod in one of the prisons that they call the mental health pods, and it is supposed to be where they are treated better, medicated, and all it is they're just locked down, man. That's
yeah,
it. They're just locked down in a cell.
yeah. They're stuck in a cell all by themselves, which makes it even worse, to be honest with you, because they can't move. That's where I've seen people try to kill themselves. We're in those cells. We
Oh yeah,
saved
I've seen
guys'
a lot of
lives one
suicide.
night.
Yeah, I saw a lot of
I
suicide,
had one
man.
that was. I seen one that was. I mean, he was seconds away from it, man, and we cut it off of him. We got there fast enough. Hmm.
I've seen a lot of it over the years, man. I found a lot, not a lot, but I found one or two. I found one as a juvenile in a group home I was in, and it's a wild thing, man.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
in one prison, the dude had been in there dead for 2 days, and
See,
yeah,
I mean
everybody,
that there's, but see, I can't say what happens in the prison system. You know what I mean?
right,
I've never been in those walls. I've never walked those floors. I can tell you that there was a girl. I can't remember her name. Big deal with the, and I believe that the state trooper was in the wrong completely on this. She should have never been arrested. He got in his feelings, took this girl to jail, and she killed herself in jail. Yeah, and it was over bullshit. I mean, there was no reason for this girl to take her life.
right,
There was no reason for this girl to be in jail, bud. I'm telling you, if you watch the body cam video of this traffic stop, it was absolute bullshit, that she was ever handcuffed and hauled to jail. It was because she was smoking a cigarette and the state trooper didn't like it and she wouldn't put her cigarette out. Well, she's sitting in her car on a traffic stop. She can do whatever the hell. I mean, it's not illegal to smoke a cigarette. You don't have
no,
to put your cigarette out because this state trooper asked you to,
wow,
stand back away from my car or whatever,
yeah,
And I mean, he escalated that. He roughed that girl up. Of course,
all
it's
over a
always
cigarette,
this stop resisting bull crap.
yeah,
And hauls her to jail and she killed herself. So I honest to God, I can't remember her name. We had to study it and look at all the case law on it whenever I was going through the Jailers Academy. But ultimately, that's where the 30-minute checks came from, was
because of
that
that,
incident. Because within so many minutes, I I can't remember what, but there's a window of time that if this person tries to kill themselves and you're in there within 30 minutes or whatever, we're gonna be able to save them,
right,
and that was the,
yeah. I
if
think
you
it's
make an
15 minutes.
outcry. Yeah, 15 minutes. But
Hmm.
if you make an outcry and say I'm gonna kill myself, well, now you're gonna be on constant watch.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go and pull you out of the cell, handcuff you, take you downstairs, strip all your clothes off of you, put you in a smock, and I'm gonna give you a different mattress and everything. I'm gonna put you in a separate cell, and then an inmate's gonna sit on you 24 hours a day.
wow. See, it's kind of the same. They don't let an inmate do it, but they, if you say you're gonna kill yourself, they're gonna put you in the paper drawers or paper gown, or lucky if you got that, or one of them
Mm.
smocks, and I had gotten
Yeah.
into it with my cellmate, and they said I was homicidal, and so they did the same thing to me. They put me in the paper drawers for 3 days, and then finally let me out of it. That ain't a good way to. Everybody kind of knows. Don't say you're gonna kill yourself, because if you do, you fix to do some hard time.
Yeah, yeah, it's rough. I had one. It was while I was on FTO, right, man. This boy, he I think he was wanting attention. He had just came in. He was in a mental health tank. I don't. He didn't belong in a mental health tank. He belonged in general pop. And so he makes this outcry. But he tried to push out the door. My little FTO guy was only like 20. I think he had just turned 21 years old. So you could tell he was a little bit intimidated by some of these inmates sometimes. And this dude tries to push out the door on him. Well, the FTO like slams the door shut. Well, back then I was a pretty good sized guy. I weighed 220 pounds. I'm 5'8", 220 pounds.
Yeah,
I had throat cancer, so I lost nearly 100 pounds going through that. But uh, whenever he did that, I said, no. I called over the radio, told him open that door. I just reached in there, snatched this son bitch out, and drug him out there and throwed him up against the wall. Like, you ain't gonna disrespect us.
yeah,
And how I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna kill myself. I said, man, you're just making this way worse on yourself. This is gonna be worse. So I saw him week later down there at the other jail. They load you up and take you to the other jail. And that some bitches run down, and they put you in 216. And there you are, man. You got a guy watching you 24 hours a day. Wait, well,
that's
I
a,
walked in there and did head count, and there he was. He was like, "Man, you're right. I fucked up. I shouldn't have. Uh, I should have listened to you." I said,
yep,
well, you know. Then time went on. He got out. He got reclassified. We had him in another cell. He made trustee. He
wow,
was a good inmate. You know what I mean? He I never had any problem with him after that. He had lost his commissary because he was out doing work, trustee, and they're not going to leave your commissary, which
mm-hmm,
is understandable.
yeah,
If they do, your shit's going to be missing.
without a doubt,
So nobody would take the time to find out where this guy's commissary was, and I said, "Look, man, you're already in here doing shit time. I'll do everything I can to find your commissary." And it took me 3 days to get this guy hit, but I took it to him. I said, "Look, here it is." It took me 3 days, but I got it. And he was super grateful. And, he was like, "You'll never have trouble out of this cell ever. Which I didn't really ever have any trouble out of any of them. Some of the other officers, yeah, they had a lot of trouble. But, their mouth wrecks them, their ego, their their attitude. You think just because this man is locked up, I can treat him like an animal? No, man. And you don't even know if this guy is innocent or
guilty,
guilty.
yeah,
Just because some cop on the street says you did something, handcuffs you and takes you to jail, kidnaps you,
yep.
it don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it don't mean I've been around a lot of people, man, who were innocent, and um,
That's a sad reality. And once you're in, getting out of it
man, I
is,
couldn't
yeah,
imagine, man. I could not imagine being locked up like that. Never been in, just say you never been in no trouble in your life, and all of a sudden here they come locking you up, saying you've done something, and then you spend the next 20, 30, 40 years in there and was innocent, and you get out, and they give you a little bit of money when they find out they were wrong. Man, that's wrong, man.
I don't know that the state of Texas gives you anything.
They may not
You would
if it's
have to
a
sue them for it. I know they're not going to just give it to you. There's
no, you
no
have to
way.
sue them. It's like a wrongful conviction. I see it a lot. Texas may not. As far as I know, I don't know,
I
but I know.
know that anything that the Texas, I mean, it is a law in Texas that anything that that like the state of Texas, like if it's a highway patrol officer, say he gets in a wreck and kills somebody and they sue him, it's a $500,000 per incident cap. That's the most you're ever going to get.
Wow.
So even I don't know, but if they put you in jail or prison and you stay there 20 years, I'm pretty sure it's 500,000 is the absolute cap. That's the most they're ever going to pay you.
That's
And who
insane,
wants
man.
to? I mean, if you take $500,000, 20 years time per hour, which you'd have to be getting paid 24 hours because you're locked up 24 hours for 20 years. I mean, you're making less than minimum wage, man.
Yeah, I would rather have them 20 years back and keep the
Yeah,
money.
exactly. I mean, these guys aren't seeing their kids grow up. They don't get to see their grandkids. Their mothers and fathers die. You know,
Yep, and
and
it's
getting a
all for
furlough in
nothing.
Texas is not. No, it is. That is rare as hen's teeth, man.
Yeah, they don't do it too much more in Tennessee, and I see people talking about me saying that people like me ruined it, this, that, and the other for them. Hey, don't worry about what I did. I was the one in jail. If I wanted to go, I was going to go. If they gave me the
Yeah,
opportunity, that's just
yeah.
how it was at that time. I was a different man then. I definitely
What kind of charge did they give you for those escapes? What did I
escaped.
mean?
Both of them were escapes. They did
I
away
know,
with
but I mean, how much time? What was the
two
sentence on
years.
there?
Two
That's
years
all.
added on. That's it
Wow.
on both of them. The second one, they were trying to give me 8 at 100. They were trying to career me out on the second one. I need to make a video about that too because the way it all went down. And the lawyer coming there,
I
man.
think it's
It's
automatic 25 in Texas.
so yeah, that's crazy, man. It's they were going to. It's 2 to 6 under regular range in Tennessee, and
Yeah.
then because I was already a persistent offender, they were going to try to career me out. Like I said, give me 8 at 100, and then put 36 more years on top of it. Um,
Mm.
but I only ended up
Don't
with a
go
12.
that, man. Especially not in Tennessee, man, because they'll hit you. Well, in Texas, that we have what they call a small bitch and a big bitch. So a habitual offender, if they hit you with it, man, it's like 25 to life, and then a big bitch is life.
Yeah, it's Tennessee. They just enhance your time, to go from 60 to 85 and this, that, and the other. So how long did you work in the jail?
I only worked there 6 months, man. And it was because of it was all political crap, and the it was the officers. It was never the inmates, man. I never had a problem, and I worked with some good officers too. It was mostly the upper echelon. You just can't trust those guys, man. So it's a felony to take a personal cell phone into the jail. Like I couldn't take my cell phone. You take anything in that jail, uh, it's a felony offense. So I had two young officers that were working on Charlie shift. I worked Bravo shift. One of these guys were never on my floor like they were supposed to. I know every check they did was late. They wrote illegal times on there. Everything that they were doing. I mean, that right there is a felony to change the time at what time you sign that paper. That's a felony because that's an official document. So they're on camera doing this. I know. And I reported it. This boy pulls out his cell phone in the control booth. Now, any inmate could be paying him to use his cell phone at any time. You know what I'm saying? And I take this to the sergeant. Nothing. I'm like,
You don't
this
care.
this is bullshit, dude. Like, this is bullshit.
I'll tell you what I saw. You were saying how officers or whatever, regular officers couldn't be in the jail. In Tennessee, it's different. But one day, I was working in the kitchen in Williamson County Jail, and a officer that worked in the jail, he could carry his pistol or whatever. Well,
Mm-hmm.
he comes walking down the hallway with his pistol on his side, and don't even realize he's done it. He's forgot he didn't lock it up. And I looked at him, and as soon as he looked at me, he realized what he'd done, and he tried to get away and go in there and hide. I could have got his
Yeah.
ass in a lot of trouble, but the
I
dude
had
was a
one.
good dude.
So we had armed jailers. So even the jailers would carry a gun. That's only when we're doing outside transport or we're going to the hospital, right? And
Yeah,
I'll go sit on an inmate at the hospital. So
yeah,
you have to have a deputy and a jailer. A jailer has to be present with this inmate. So,
yeah,
uh, but we carry a firearm.
right.
Well, so we do these transports from the Loop 121 jail to what we called the Central jail. It was down
Mm-hmm.
on Central Avenue in Belton. And so I was running the main control booth for the whole jail called 5-8. That was the central control of the jail.
Yeah,
I operate the elevators, I operate all the radios, all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like I let him in the Sally port. I, let him into the jail, and he came in there with two loaded magazines on his gun belt, which is a felony offense.
And so you there in Tennessee, you
No
could see
gun.
him.
He did take his gun out, but he had two loaded magazines.
So what was the final straw that said enough is enough? I ain't doing this no more. I've had enough.
Well, like I was telling you, I was going to run for sheriff, and I did not really work with anybody outside the jail in upper command areas of like captains, majors, and all this stuff. Right?
Yeah,
Got out of my truck, and this guy that should not know, he's a captain. He shouldn't know who I am. You know,
right.
I mean, there's no reason for this guy to even know who I am. And he says, "Oh, I heard you were going to run for sheriff," which I knew the sheriff. Like personally, me and him were friends. I'd known him since I was a kid. Me and him had a personal phone call and talked about this on the phone. And he told me it's a good idea. You should go ahead and run because I was a predominant business owner in the county. I
Yeah,
knew thousands of people. He thought you'll be a good candidate. Go ahead. But the chief deputy wanted to run, is what I was told. And that I could tell was going to become a problem.
right,
And I mean, this went through the sheriff's office like wildfire. So it just raised red flags to me, man. And one day, you know how all the guys are when the nurse comes around and they're passing out pills or whatever. They're they got to check out the woman, because
yeah, of course,
there ain't no women on these floors,
right.
really. So I got my cowboy hat on, my polished up black boots and all that. And this inmate tells the nurse, "Hey, step aside. I want to talk to this guy." So I was like, "What's up, man?" He was like, "You got more swag than any person in this jail, man. What are you doing here?
Yeah,
You don't belong in here, man. You're too good a dude. You don't need to be working in here." That was my last shift, man. I never went back.
no kidding. And now
But
you're back to construction. Let's plug your business, man. What's the name of your construction company?
it's Burke's Dirt and Site Prep,
And it's out of what part of Texas are you in?
Central Texas. Yeah,
Central
Belton,
Texas.
Temple, Waco, Killeen. Mm-hmm.
Anybody in that area? Y'all heard that? Y'all give this man a call if you need anything done. You got a YouTube channel?
I do. Yeah, Burke's Dirt, or yeah, it's Burke's Dirt and Site Prep YouTube channel. I
Are
don't have
you
really very much content on there. I like to post some videos running heavy machinery and stuff like that. I usually do a lot of heavy building demolition, tearing down houses, do a lot of dirt work,
okay?
retaining walls, all kinds of stuff like that, concrete work.
You should put videos on there, man. People watch anything. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? There's people.
I
There's
do.
a
It's just I'm not real tech savvy. You know what I mean? I've never been. I bought me a drone to start trying to use it some and do. You know,
it's a good
it's
idea,
hard
man.
to do the work and try to do the videoing and all that stuff, man. It
If
really
people
is.
if people watch my videos, they'll watch anything. You know what I mean?
Well,
No, I'm great.
your videos are educational, and if nothing else, it's good to open the eye of the general public that there's a lot of people that deserve to be in prison. There are. I mean, most of them that are in there deserve to be there, but they also deserve to be treated humanely. Uh,
That's a fact, man.
Other than the pedophiles, man, I had a hard time even passing them guys a tray. You know what I mean? Like it makes you sick at your
Man,
stomach that I even have to feed you, but you got to act like you. I can't even tell that inmate next to me that's helping me pass trays that this dude's in here for a sex
yeah.
crime. I mean, I
So
had
they
some that were like in regular housing units and they would. This one, he was real mouthy, man. I wanted to snitch him out so bad to everybody in that tank because there was a boy that grew up in the trailer park with me in that tank, and I knew he'd handle business. You know what I mean?
right.
Like but I knew if it got back that I was the one that outed this dude, it'd be on me. You know what I mean?
See, in Williamson County for sure, they put them in a pod by themselves. That's
Well,
all
they
that's in
are in
there.
a pod even in Bell County. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most of them. But this dude had to have a plug because he had sleep apnea. But
Uh,
he'd try to be in there like he was some kind of hardcore gangbanger. But
yeah.
and I know he's lying to all these. He was in a 6-man cell, right? Or eight
Right.
man. He was in an eight
Yeah.
man cell. I know these other 7 dudes in here. One of them I went to school with, grew up with him, and I mean, I know this dude from the trailer park. We used to kickbox together. So I'm like, I know he would handle this dude for what this
Right.
dude did because I read the police reports and everything on this guy. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I
Yeah.
seen everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, man, I appreciate your time, man.
yeah.
I usually cut them off about 40 minutes. That's usually about all somebody's going to watch anyway. Thank you so much. And we plugged your business.
Oh yeah.
Say your company again for us.
It's Burke's Dirt and Site Prep.
Y'all give this man a call. Thank you so much, Chris. I do appreciate it, man. We'll be in touch.
All right, send me a link to the video, man. You
Will
have a
do,
good
man.
evening, brother.
You
All
too,
right,
brother. All right, man.
all
See
right.
you, man.
Bye bye.